A few years ago, I was at the Yorkshire Show and I watched Stephan Lunn do something which was very interesting. He would take a steel leaf, so he would do these beautiful seaweed sculptures, very natural flowing and all of this, and on the leaves he would melt little bits of copper onto them so they became slightly coppered colour, and creates this really cool effect. And I've never tried it, and as I said, this was a few years ago now, so I can't really remember how he did it, but it was really cool. So I want to try and do it. I'm going to try and do it on a maple leaf or a sycamore leaf, that sort of style, rather than seaweed, which is what Stephan did it on. But I think it's a really cool thing, you know, to have a steel leaf with little bits of copper melted onto it. So I'm going to give it a try. It might not work, we'll see. I might have to use some flux to get the copper to stick to the steel. I don't really know. I'm going to make it up. Let's just crack on. I've got this piece of 2mm sheet, which I'm going to use for the leaf. Got a little template here. So I'll stick that on with some super glue and then we can cut it out with an angle grinder. And I'll leave a bit more material than that as I'll, you know, curl it up into a little keyring, I think. Little keyring loop hole thing. So I've clamped it down onto my workbench so I can cut it out with the angle grinder. I've cut it out, I'm going to heat it up now, and I was thinking I was going to cut the veins on, but I think the copper would get in the way of the veins and make it look sort of less natural, as the copper's then just being sort of chucked on there and getting in the way of the leaf. So I think I'm just going to texture it with a cross peen, just a little bit, to give it, so it's not flat, to give it a little bit more form and leaf-like qualities, and then I'll shape it up, forge out this end, which will be just a little shepherd's crook or something, into a loop, and then we'll heat it up and try and melt some copper onto it. I'm gonna sort of do a bit of a, I don't know, arc to these cross-beam marks. Right, I'll dish it now, so it's got a bit more sort of shape to it. I'm working this end now, just into a little taper, which you can then bend into a shepherd's crook. There's a loop for the keyring loop. Got a little scroll on the end. So I'll put a little bend in it at the leaf, and then work this material around. there's the finished little maple leaf. I'm now gonna try and put these little bits of copper onto it, but I've no idea if this is gonna work. I've never tried it before, as I said. I want to try and do lots of little lots of little pieces of copper around the edges, but I don't know, you know, how it's gonna pull. It might all just pull together into one big clump. I don't really know. I think it's a little bit like brazing, maybe. I'm not a welder, I don't know. But basically just heat this up and melt it onto it. I don't know if that's brazing. You probably get shot for saying that, I don't know. Anyway, let's try and do it. So hopefully you can see what's happening, vaguely. I've preheated this just to a red. I don't really know what temperature it needs to be. I don't know if it needs to be forge welding or whatever. I'm then gonna just put a couple of bits of copper on it, on each leaf, each petal of each leaf, I don't know. Right, let's see if this is going to work. Just going to have it on top of the forge. I'm just going to watch and see when all these little bits are going to be melting. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but let's have a look. One of them is melted. There goes the second one. They seem to be absorbing into the steel. I don't know if that's right or it's. I can't really. I don't think you can see it. Very interesting. Two of them have gone. One's left. The biggest one. It's not quite melted yet. I'll leave this to cool down and then we can see if there has in fact been any copper on it or if somehow it's all just evaporated off or something, I don't know. We'll see. So, as you can see, we only had a tiny little bit of copper that actually took. So of the three, there's only one piece that stayed on. So, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to get it really clean this time. The surface of the leaf, that is. And then maybe, whilst it's heating up in the fire, just sprinkle a little bit of flux on it and we can see, hopefully, that will make a difference. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's do it. Okay, you aren't going to believe me, but literally all I've done is wire brush this up. And you know when I said there was one little bit of copper on it? That was wrong. It copper plated the entire thing. That's ridiculous. I didn't think that it would do this. Like, when I've seen Stephan Lunn do it before, he's only ever had like little blobs on, which was what I was aiming for, really. So most of the background of the material is steel, and then he would have a couple of little just splotches of copper, which looks really cool. But what I've actually done is accidentally copper plate steel, and it's even done it on the back. I've no idea how I've done this. I didn't think that this was possible at a forge, but there we go. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out, really. And if you look, only the leaf is copper coloured. Hang on, let me see if I can focus this. Because the little loop there, that's still steel. You can see the difference in them. Mad. Really happy with that. It's really cool. So I'm astonished with how well that worked. Like, I didn't use any flux in doing that. You saw me put the bits of copper on. You saw me melting it on. I didn't use any flux. And I used hardly any copper, and it's done the entire thing, even the back. I've no idea how this has happened. if somebody knows more about this than me, then please tell me how I've done this. I literally, all I did was wire brush it up, and the entire thing went copper coloured apart from the little shepherd's crook that I've done. So I have no idea. I want to explore this more. I want to do a bigger leaf and see if I can actually get splotches, blobs of copper rather than copper coat the entire thing, because that was sort of what I was actually aiming for, and that's what I've seen Stephan do before, rather than copper coating a piece of steel. But anyway, this was really cool. I really enjoyed making this. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you soon.